live streaming on home child care provider pilot and home support worker pilot program. So, good morning to everyone in Vancouver. It is 5 a.m. and good evening everyone to everyone back home in the Philippines. I believe it is 8 p.m. where you are right now. So, please, if you haven't shared this live stream, please do share it to your friends and families that would have questions around the new pathway for caregivers. Okay. If you guys are not hearing me, please comment below. And also, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type in your questions. I will be answering them from time to time, looking at the comments. And yeah, okay. So my name is Israel Roman. I am the licensed Canadian immigration consultant based here in Vancouver, specifically Nanaimo, BC, Van, Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, here in Canada. And at the same time, while practicing consultant, I am also a practicing registered nurse here, also in Nanaimo. We have offices here in Canada, which is in Nanaimo, and our Philippine office is in Lipa City, Batangas. So, home child care and home support. So, this new great program started a year ago, 2019 June. So when a caregiver applies for work permit to come here to Canada, what they will receive is an open work permit to come to Canada and work temporarily. Now, the big difference is that the open permit that you will be getting would only be occupation restricted, meaning to say you can only work here in Canada as a caregiver, but in terms of your employer, you can change employer. So if your initial employer didn't work well and you both of you have a mutual agreement that it would be better if you find a different employer, you can go ahead and find a new employer without applying for a new permit because you already have an open work permit that allows you to change from one employer to another as long as they are still under the work is still caregiver. And your employer won't need any LMIA for this one, so that is good. That would kind of like easier for the employer to hire caregivers because they don't have to undergo the LMIA process because that takes time. So that's good news for our caregivers. And at the same time, when you apply for the caregiver program, you also are applying for a permanent residency. So that is a one of the biggest change as well. I'm just looking at the comments if we have any questions in our comment box. So so it lets you get the work experience you need to be eligible for permanent residence. So meaning to say, while you're here in Canada working as a caregiver, that that counts toward your last thing that you need in order to finalize your work permit application. So so that would be 2 years. So once you come here to Canada as a caregiver, you're technically almost approved for permanent residency. You only need one more thing, which is to complete that 2 years, 2 years of a caregiver work, and then your final status of permanent residency will come out. All right. So just going back to this one, so this is the biggest change, right? So before last year, caregivers can come here, and when they come here, they have a work permit, and that work permit is restricted to the occupation and to the employer, which the processing time could be as quickly as 2 months. But this time around, because it is both open work permit and permanent residency application, the processing time would be longer than 2 months. And if you ask me, can I still apply for the old program? Unfortunately, any new applications now would have to go to the new program, which is this one, which is open work permit and permanent residency application. Okay, moving on. So, am I eligible as a caregiver? Can I, how can I, what are the requirements? Okay, so you need to have a genuine and valid job offer, and your employer needs to say that you'll have a full-time work that is at least 30 hours of 30 hours paid work week, and you're able to do the job. So how can a immigration officer determine that you're able to do the job? So that would be with your experience as a caregiver. You need to be able to show that you have experience as a caregiver, or you have taken the course, caregiving course, or something equivalent. And it has to be recent, right? So it cannot be more than 5 years ago. So when we say equivalent, if you are a nursing graduate 2 years ago, but now working in a different field, you are still eligible. You are still able to do the job. The officer would still be able to say that you are able to do the job. Or if you are practicing RN, of course, if you have taken the caregiver course or you have an experience, you've been working as a caregiver. Now, if you have been working as a caregiver, it has to be paid. It cannot be volunteer. So if you are working in the Philippines for that one, even though you're getting paid, we have to prove it that you are getting paid. Example for that is PhilHealth. Is your employer contributing to your PhilHealth? And we need to show that one. And you need to meet the language level. So this one is the language level is really for criteria or requirement for the permanent residency. So you only need a CLB of 5, which is uh, for a lot. This is it's not a hard thing to get, but if you are having some challenges in meeting the CLB 5, we have a great news for you later on. Just stay tuned. And meet the education requirement. So this one right here is also part of the permanent residency application. There's a question, how can I get a job in this pathway outside Canada? Yes. So if I just want to clarify the question. If the question is about you are trying to find a job in this pathway as a caregiver, but you are outside of Canada, how can you find a job? We'll tackle that one later on. And of course, when you say meet the education requirement, this would be 1 year post-secondary. So, or college, first year college. If you are from the Philippines and you, at the time when you graduate high school, there was no grade 12 yet, and you have finished a an associate degree, how they will evaluate that one would be your first year college would only be grade 11. Your second year college would only be grade 12. So that means you are still missing 1 year of post-secondary. So it is safe. It is safer if you have a 4 year degree course, or a it's push if you have only finished a 3 year college degree. And of course, you are admissible to Canada, and that would be a no criminal offense or history of misrepresentation. So to the people that joined us, so welcome to our live streaming. If you haven't shared this live streaming, please go ahead and share it to your friends and families. Question on how to apply, that one will be tackled later on down on our slides. Okay, so eligibility, genuine job offer. You have a full-time job, you're able to do the job. We will prove that with your course, caregiving course or equivalent. If you're, let's say, nursing, meet the language level. This is for your permanent residency, so you just need the CLB 5. That's easy. But if you are having some challenges on that one, we'll help you. You'll find out how, and meet the education requirement. Just 1 year of post-secondary, or you have to have first year college and admissible to Canada. So no offense, no history of misrepresentation, and relatively in good health. What happens to your spouse? So with this new program, this is a great news because when you apply for your open work permit and permanent residency, your spouse and your children are included in this application. So when you fly to Canada, your spouse and your children are will be coming with you. So there's no more waiting for 2 years, 3 years before you can get your spouse here in Canada or your children here in Canada. The family will fly together to Canada. So what will your spouse do here in Canada while you are working as a caregiver? Your spouse can work anywhere, any occupation and any employer, as long as he or she is qualified for that job he or she is applying to, because your spouse will have an open work permit. Hi, there's a question here. Just reading a question. Hi, good evening. How about if the caregiving certificate was received more than 5 years ago? If that's the only proof that we will be showing the officer, that might not go well. We if but Yeah, but then if you are also working recently, then that should be fine, right? Working as a caregiver recently, then that should be fine. Now for your dependent child, so they will be coming here to study, and study here, if I'm hoping, not hoping, but publicly funded schools here are for free. So you don't have to worry about tuition fee. Employer. So we are Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited and Roman Canadian Immigration. in Batangas, we are not a recruitment agency. Just want to clarify that one. We are not a recruitment agency. We are not with license with POEA, and we don't have to be licensed with POEA because we are not a recruitment agency. We are a Canadian immigration consultancy firm. So we don't need to be licensed with POEA, but we have to be licensed here in Canada, right? So we are not recruiting you. We are helping you to come here with your visa, with your Canadian visa. So just want to make sure that is clear with everyone. So when it comes to the employer, this is a responsibility of the applicant. I know it is your responsibility, but we are here. We will show you how you'll be able to land an employer. We will help you with that one. If you have a relative here in Canada that needs a caregiver, a relative that has children, or a relative that has their parents also living here that might be needing some caregiving help, then they can sponsor you. They can act as your employer. They can be your employer, and just let us know, and we will help you with that one as well. We will get this going, right? So your employer, we basic requirement would be your employer has income, reliable income, and then the job offer would be we will show that it is a full-time job and that there's a need for a nanny or a caregiver. So I've said, yep. So it's relative who have children or elderly parents. So there's a question on, can I still apply even if I have previous inadmissible record? This one would be, you'll have to chat with me about that one because there's your file would be a bit complicated, but I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just additional steps. How many months to process? Since this is an open work permit plus permanent residency application, the processing time will take longer than the usual work permit. So it would range between 9 months to 1 year. Due to the virus, where can we do the English language test if we are outside of Canada? Unfortunately, that is a country specific, even city specific. So I cannot say where you're able to take your English exam, unfortunately, but will have to be we will go through this together, and I'm hoping that everything, I mean, like I'm hoping that this pandemic will subside soon and you guys will be able to continue on and take your English exam and whatever you need to do to come here to Canada. But that one would be city specific or country specific. Back here in Canada, we've just started here in British Columbia. We just recently restarted uh, the IELTS exam. So with all the precautionary measures being in place. So sorry, I cannot help you with that. So what's the advantage then for joining with our firm? So we have I myself is a immigration consultant, and to process your visa application and your open work permit and your permanent residency, there is a consultation. There's not a consultation. I mean, there is a retainer's fee. So this one can be negotiated wherein could be paid by your employer, and it will all we will attract your employer to have this one paid by saying that, hey, we have a discount of a 50%. So your employer won't be paying the full retainer's fee. There will be a 50% off. So again, we can negotiate this one with your employer. We have caregivers here wherein the employers paid for everything, right? So it's just a matter of how good how well you present yourself during the interview with our caregiver. And yeah, so we have caregivers here who didn't pay a thing, and some caregivers who the only thing they paid for is the immigration fee, and everything else is taken care of. So, or some of our caregivers here, they get in, their salary gets increased every month as a way of helping the caregiver. So no additional fee. This is one advantage as well, is if you have a spouse or dependent or children, there won't be additional fee for them, right? So they'll have even though there'll be more work for us in terms of the application, we won't be charging any additional fee for that one. Usually, if you have a spouse, additional there will be additional fee. If you have a child, one child, additional fee. If you have two children, then the second child would also have another fee. So so I did tell you earlier that if you have some challenges with with getting your CLB 5, it's not that you're not you don't know how to speak in the language English. But then, of course, it's nerve-wracking taking IELTS exam. There's pressure, so you might need to attend a review class to kind of just to get your nerves out there and get some strategy on how to really nail down this IELTS and even get 9.0. Who knows, right? So we will be providing unlimited IELTS review to get you through this. And also, we will take care of the IELTS exam fee. How much is the immigration fee? That's a question on our comment box here. We'll talk about that one later on. Stay tuned, please. And share it. Please share this to with your friends, this live stream. Share it with your friends and family so that everyone that's looking to come to Canada as a caregiver would have this great opportunity. And this is the biggest advantage that you'll have for joining us. We will represent you to our Canadian employers. And why am I confident on this one? This is because we are here in Canada. Our office is here in Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada. We have access to employers. Employers come to us looking for caregivers every day. And so if you are part of our team, our program, then you'll be one of the caregivers we would be representing. We will be presenting to our employers, to our clients here. And at the same time, we would also so by joining us, you are giving us permission to post your profile to our website. This is one way of us marketing, not the lack of better term, but to market you to our to the different Canadian employers out there that's not are not able to come to our office, right? So, and as well as you're granting us permission to post your profile in our social media pages, and because this is also another way of us connecting with our clients here in Canada. But of course, if you don't want to, that is totally fine. You just have to let us know that, hey, just go ahead and represent us, but not to post my profile website on your website, different website, and different social media accounts. So networking, when I say networking, I did mention earlier that I am a practicing RN, or practicing registered nurse here in Canada. So I have connection. I'm not. I am close our to patients, to clients looking for caregivers, right? So I'm in a healthcare field, so I know what they're looking for. They also trust me that I know where I'll be able to get caregivers, and the employers that come to me trust me that I know what they need and what type of caregiver would be best suited for what they're needing, or for what their situation is, right? So patients getting discharged from the hospital, they would need unfortunately they would need a caregiver. So to stay safe at home, and to maintain and stay at home but still stay safe, they would need a caregiver. So those are the clients that would that presents in our office or knocks at our door to kind of like, hey, ask for caregivers. So our credentials. So I am a licensed Canadian immigration consultant, and I need to be licensed. I need to renew my license every year. So our governing body is the ICCRC. If you have anyone, especially, I'm not, yeah, if you have anyone that's giving you advice on how to immigrate to Canada, and immigration uh, needs, the that person needs to be licensed with ICCRC. They cannot be providing advice to you and not having a license. That is not legal. So I just want to make sure that you guys are working with someone that is licensed, right? So even if you've been working with an agency in the Philippines, they might be they might be licensed with POEA, but they might not be licensed with ICCRC. So if they are providing you with some visa help, immigration help, they are acting illegally, right? So how sorry, how would you know? There you go. I clicked it. How would you know if the consultant is really licensed? So just go to the website of the body that governs us, that gives us the license. And here, this is where you can also log your complaint if you have any complaint with that immigration consultant. But if you're working with someone that is not licensed, then this body is not able to help you with that one, because they cannot suspend their license, or they cannot revoke their license because they're not licensed, right? So just want to make sure you're safe out there. So click on the public register and type in, let's say last name is Roman, and my first name is Israel, and hit search. And you'll see there, that's my name, status is active, that's my license number and contact information. Click on that one, and you'll see that I'm from Nanaimo, BC, Canada, and the company I work for is Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited. Okay, so now you'll see that I am I still have an active status here. Next, okay, you did say that you work for Roman and Associates. How sure am I that company exists? So here in Canada, if they're based here in Canada, like myself and the company I work for, click on just go to the Canada Business Registry, accept. We are in British Columbia, and type in Roman and Associates. Hit click. So there you go. So Roman Associates Immigration Services Limited, status is active, and so yeah. All right. So those are the two ways of you to research if the person and the company does really exist, and if the person is licensed, right? So also on the previous slide, it did one of the advantage is representing you to our employers. So again, or the advantage is our Canadian presence, right? So you might have you might have heard any agency back home in the Philippines, but they're really in the Philippines. How are they able to connect with the Canadian employers here to get you the employer that you need, right? And liaise with the employer here and represent you. So that's our one of our advantage, our Canadian presence. So am I really in Canada? Who am I really? Israel Roman. So where is my mouse? Okay, can't find my mouse. There you go. Oops. Sorry, let's do this again. There's my mouse. Okay. All right, so let's go to Google and just type in Israel Roman Nanaimo, and you'll see. You can search for me if you want to. There you go, Roman Associates, and you'll see my name there, but that's LinkedIn, so anyone can create that one. So let's not use that one. Let's maybe use some pictures. You'll see what I look like. The face behind this voice. I'm not this. I'm not this. Definitely I'm not this. I'm right here in the middle. And this is me as well. And this is me giving presentation when not me, when the hospital received a donation. So that was me saying thank you to them. And and this one right here, you'll see it's blurry, but that's my name right there, and it's just saying that carrying out business, the Roman Associates. So there you go. So I'm hoping that this proves that I'm really here in Canada and that I'm really working as a nurse. Next one is we, even though I did say that we are not a recruitment agency in the Philippines, but here in Canada, we have a company that acts as a recruitment agency. So this is our company that does all the recruitment, and I cannot move my mouse again. Sorry about that. So finding an employer, there you go. So Home is Best Caregiver is one of our company here in Canada. So this is our avenue for this is the agency recruitment agency that interacts and connects with our employers. Okay. And then the last one is we also have our nannies on the block. So this is also one of our website, one of our company that is mainly doing website online, wherein we can. This is one way of us connecting our employers to you, our caregivers as well. There you go. So let's talk about money, really. How much are we talking about here? How much will you be getting paid? Is it worth it? Let's see. So, as a caregiver, this is for elderly care. If a caregiver looking after elderly clients, the Canadian median wage or average would be $16.50, but it can go as high as $24.50. If you're a nanny for children or for a child, the Canadian median wage or average would be $14.11. So really, how much is that one? How much is $16 or 50 cents? Or how much is $14? Or what if I'm on the low wage, right? So let's see some sample computation. So let's say 1411. Let's just use 1411. So you're a nanny getting a median wage of 1411. That would give you 1411 times 40 hours per week. That would give you $564 a week. In a month, that would be 2,256. And in a year, that would be $27,072 a year. It doesn't sound big, $27,000 only, but if you convert down right now to Philippine peso right now, so 35 peso to $1, that would give you close to a million for working as a nanny here in Canada. Not bad, right? And at the same time, this is only your salary. What if you have your spouse with you and your spouse is working as well full time and also earning almost the same one? So that would be two of you would be earning almost the same amount. So not bad at all. But of course, there is a investment, right? I mean, like it's not everything is free. You have to invest for sure. And the way I see this one is in every business, a lot of business out there right now, online business, wherein you're selling online goods, products. There's investment tied into that one, but is there a guarantee that you'll be getting your money back or is the return of investment, right? So with this one, I see this one as investment on yourself, not on a product, right? You're investing on yourself. It is you who would be controlling how you'll get your money back because you'll be the one working for it. It's not the product working for you, it's you yourself, right? So I won't take this one as a barrier, but I would take this one as a opportunity for a better future for sure, right? And again, it's in your control. So we have so when you start your application, there is the administration fee of 48,000. So that would cover your, and with that one, you'll have your free IELTS, unlimited review IELTS, and as well as it will also include the free IELTS exam. So we'll take care of that one. And of course, that includes the 50% of the retainer's fee for your employers as well. So that would be great news for your employer when we negotiate that one. And again, don't forget the advantages by registering with us. That means you are part of our team. The advantages that you will have, which is landing an employer, right? because that's the most important one, is finding that employer. And then you'll have the ECE, or that would be the one that's evaluating your credentials and making sure that you have that 1 year post-secondary. Your application immigration fee, you'll have your open work permit, that will be 255, permanent residency application 550, medical exam and biometrics. So this is for a single person. Just if you have a spouse, we'll talk about that one later on the next slide. And then on your last stage, when you're when you have completed your 2 years of employment here, you just have to pay the immigration fee of 490, and then they'll be releasing your permanent residency status. If you have a spouse, then this would be the additional cost for your spouse. But hey, your spouse will be coming with you. You don't have to worry about them that they're staying in the Philippines or your home country while you're working. They'll be coming with you, and they'll be working as well, right? So they'll be able to recoup this one quickly. And I've said the retainer's fee, that is a 50% off, which is we will negotiate with your employer that they'll be the one to pay for it. So it's a total of 25. So what is the process? I know you've heard a lot of things. So first is the eligibility check. So if we won't be registering you, we won't be taking you to our team, we won't be asking you to pay that 48,000 if we know that this is not the pathway for you, right? We don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste your money. We won't waste your money. So we have to check. We have to do our eligibility check to make sure that you meet the minimum requirements, right? So once you do pass your eligibility check, and then that would be the time that we register you. This would be the start of your application, and so this is where you'll pay the 48,000. This is that time. We know that you're eligible, and we won't be wasting your time and money. And then we go to you, evaluate your credentials, and then prepare your documents. Then application submission to IRCC, right? IRCC is the Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship of Canada, and then fly to Canada. So this is the high level overview of the process. So what's the next step? So if you are interested in coming to Canada as a caregiver, and you know that you will qualify, you meet the you based on the presentation that you meet all the requirements, then please comment on the section and send your email address and your contact number so that we know how to get in touch with you if we need to. You don't need if you feel not comfortable sending your contact number in the comment section below, then just email address is fine. Happy with that one. If we need, we will send you a summary of the presentation. And then please submit your resume to assessment at romancanadianimmigration.ca. By submitting your resume, you are saying that I meet the minimum requirements, and I want you to please double check, do your first step, first step, the eligibility check, and on the subject line, so that we can flag it, because we do receive hundreds of email every day. so that your email doesn't get lost, so that your resume doesn't get lost and buried. And sorry for that one. Sorry for if you're one of our clients that we have responded quickly. It's just that we are receiving so much. Please, on the subject line, very important, write down Caregiver Pathway live stream July 25, 2020. This one will trigger our office that you are one of the applicants that would be getting the our unlimited review for IELTS, our and then the English exam, and then the 50% retainers fee for your employer, and as well as representing you for our employers right here, or to our employers right here. So the next one is, as soon as we have checked your resume and determined that you meet the minimum requirements to come here as a caregiver, the next step would be the registration. That would be the only time you'll be paying the 48,000. And that's it for me for this presentation. I'm hoping that everyone got a lot of things out of from this presentation. I thank you so much. It's been a pleasure serving you. And yes, I'll be reviewing some comments here. So currently working as a staff nurse. Yes, so definitely you are eligible from the sounds of it, just reading that one. Yes, you are eligible to apply for a caregiver. Please, this presentation would also be live, not live, it will be in our Facebook social page. So please, if you missed something, just go ahead and uh, click on the video again to hear what I have said. Thanks for submitting your email, Cleo. Again, for those people who would like to submit their email so that we can connect with you, please